Hi, Christy. Chuck.
Hi.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what do you do here?
I'm the executive director of the Hayes Presidential Center.
Oh, good. So we're going to start taking a tour of the War of 1812 here. Is that Commodore Perry over next to you there?
This is not Commodore Perry.
Didn't
this
look
is
like him.
George Krogan. Yes, good guess though.
He had kind of the same kind of outfit on, but he looks a little different, right? Hair's kind of the same.
Yeah.
So, Christy, why did you decide to do this at the Hayes Museum? Does he call this the Hayes Museum?
The Hayes Presidential Center.
Hayes Presidential Center? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. And well, this was a great year to do something on the War of 1812 because obviously this is the Bicentennial. And even though we are the Hayes Presidential Center and we tend to focus on President Hayes, we do temporary exhibits periodically that relate to local history. And actually the Hayeses do have a bit of a connection to the War of 1812 because the president's wife, Lucy Webb Hayes, her father was a surgeon from Kentucky, and he was up here with a contingent of soldiers during the War of 1812, and they actually traversed these very grounds here at the Presidential Center and probably camped right here in this area.
How did it go over? Did you have quite a few people come through?
The exhibit has been very popular. In fact, it's been one of our more highly attended exhibits that we've done in recent years. So people have really enjoyed it. And what's unique about this is the collection that we have here, which is largely from private collector Lou Schultz. These pieces that are in this exhibit have not seen exposure to the public very often. So this is kind of a rare opportunity to see these very pieces that are in this exhibit.
Oh, good. So it's a rare opportunity for CamericaTV to be able to preserve this for you the way you've done it, because in a few days you're going to tear this down, I think,
Yeah,
and it's all going to go back together.
Yep, it's been up for about 6 months, so it's time to take it down here in a few more days and put a new exhibit up. But we're sorry to see it go because it's been a wonderful addition to the exhibits that we have here.
How did you happen to get into this? Did you always like the idea of legends and treasuring things when you were younger?
Well, you know, my family, they always have been very good storytellers. I grew up knowing my grandparents and my great-grandparents, and so for me, history was something very much personal, very alive, very real, because I was always, whenever I was reading about a historic event, I was always wondering, well, what was my family doing at that point in time? And, you know, I remember my grandma talking about when electricity came to the farm, and the first time she rode in a car, and the first time she had pizza, and, you know, all these kinds of things. So for me, I just always grew up with a passion and appreciation for history.
We're going to talk to Lou in a little bit. Is there anything that you like in this exhibit that you'd like to point out and say, well, I kind of really like this, and it fit into my style of storytelling?
Oh gosh, there's some really interesting artifacts in here that you just don't see very often. There's some dragoon hats, but you know, one of the most interesting things, I think, there's a map of Put-in-Bay, but they have it labeled Pudding Bay, so it was a mistake on the map makers.
No, it wasn't a mistake. They called it Pudding Bay because it looked like a pudding bowl, they said. That's true.
See, well that's, okay, so there's some.
Want to show me that map?
Story. Yes.
Okay, then we'll go over it. We'll look at the map and then we'll go join Lou in a minute.
But you can see we've got a lot of really interesting visual images here that make up the exhibit, but this is it right here. It says, so they have it labeled Bass Island, Pudding Bay.
Getting a little too close there. Wow, what a strange map. It's really not, it really looks different than when you see it like on a satellite or anything.
Have no satellites when this map was created.
I know it. So where are we on here on this map, do you think?
Well, let's take a look here. Let's see, here's Sandusky, there's the Portage River, so, you know, we're kind of right in this area in here.
Good. Did President Hayes grow up here around this area?
And actually, he was born in Delaware, Ohio.
Oh, I know where that is, right?
Yeah, a little ways south of here. But his uncle moved to Fremont and built the house here in what would become Spiegel Grove. And so he came to visit his uncle quite often, and actually his uncle then turned the house over to President Hayes and his wife Lucy, and they lived here after they came back.
This
from the
house
White
here?
House.
This big house?
The big house.
Oh, my
Yes,
goodness.
Yes.
Oh, so the Hayeses must have had money then.
The Hayeses were comfortable. They were not wealthy. A lot of their
This house is pretty wealthy.
it's pretty wealthy, but they didn't build it. Uncle Sardis built it.
Okay.
So now they did put some additions on after Hayes retired from the presidency, and they came back to Fremont after his term ended. Then they did put some additions on at that point. So they were very comfortable.
So what year was he the president?
He was president from 1877 until 1881.
Okay, and so when was he born? He was born after after War of 1812, probably.
Yes, he was. I believe he was born in 1822.
1822?
And
So this was still kind of the frontier at this time, when even Delaware, Ohio was. That was the heart of the Indian Nation was right around there, Piqua and all those places.
And he actually, for a time, practiced law here because he was a lawyer, so he practiced law for a while in Fremont, but there weren't a lot of opportunities here at that point in time. So then he moved to Cincinnati because that was the big booming town at that point in time, and actually that's where he met his wife Lucy.
Oh, good, good. Okay, hey, anything else you think you might like to add? We'll just stop this video and get going on to Lou Schultz in a minute. What do you think? Anything?
Lou will have a lot of really interesting things to say, so I will turn things over to him.
Okay, this looks like William Henry Harrison here, doesn't it?
correct.
Yes, yes. What a guy, huh?
Yes.
It didn't last very long in office.
No, just about a month. Unfortunately, he was struck down with pneumonia after taking the presidency and died 3 days later.
Oh, good. Hey, well.